Good morning. Today on our fun activities in five, I want to talk to you about how I introduce FVR and why, for me, it's such an important activity. I've done lots of things over the years. A really popular one is something called speed dating with books or a book tasting, where you give students a set amount of time to go through specific books that you've picked out, and they kind of rate them on different scales. There are lots of sheets out there. I will link the one that I use below if you're interested in that sheet. Um, I don't do that anymore because I want students to have a little bit of freedom and choice. And I want students to have a little more room to move. So when I first did it, I would pick out 8 or 9 books. Everybody would use those 8 or 9 books. The goal would be for me to show them this is level 1, this is level 4, this is too easy, this is too hard. Um, when that's just not really reality for a lot of students, and it's not really reality for how the library works. So now what I do is I take about 50 books um, of any kind. These are the ones that I have in front of me right now, but I'll take 50 books. I lay them out on my counter. So you can see my counter behind me. It goes all the way down my room. I usually lay them out double stacked like this on the counter, and I will pick all kinds of books. My goal is to get lots of different levels, lots of different topics, lots of different styles. Like maybe they don't want to read a book, maybe they want to read a more graphic novel type book. Maybe they want to read a book that has colored pictures. Maybe they want a book that has an option of reading it in 2 different tenses. Maybe they want a book about something that's not necessarily fiction. They want more of a nonfiction style book. So I want to get all those options out there for them. I call students by rows. My chairs are in 4 rows. I'll call one row at a time. They get 30 seconds to pick up a book. And the goal of this is really to teach them that, like, the cover gives them a lot of information. So you have 30 seconds to pick up a book. If you like animals and you know you want a level 1 book, you might pick this up. Whereas if you like animals and you like a level 2 book, you might pick this up. But you're doing it based on the cover. They don't have time to read the back, and I don't want them to. We take about 5 minutes. They go through, they're supposed to read the back cover of the book. They're supposed to open the book to a random page, read the page. They're supposed to count how many words they don't know, how many words they need to look up in the glossary. And then they're supposed to kind of balance that between, like, maybe one of the words in your book is guinea pig, which you didn't know, but it's going to be used throughout the entire book because that's the character of this book. So we're not going to count that as a word that you didn't know, because you would definitely know it by the time you started reading the book, because it's really important. Whereas in this book, you might see the word rope and not know it, but it's really only used on like 3 pages. So it's okay if you don't know it, because you can look it up and then you're going to be done with that section in a day and it will be okay. At the end of reading, they fill out a little chart. They say, like, what was the book about? What level of difficulty was it for them? Did they like it? Do they want to read it, etc. They use that information to choose their next book. So after 5 minutes, we repeat that process, and we do that for an entire class period. We actually do it for 2 class periods. And at the end, they've looked at somewhere around 15 different books. Then I start calling students to choose their book. So they use all of that information they have to be able to say, this is a book that I want to read. Um, but I only let each student read one book when we first start per class, because it wouldn't be fair to other classes. So if somebody chooses this one as their first book, nobody else in that same class period can choose this one. Number one, I don't have 85 copies of this book. And number two, I want other classes to have a chance. So if they choose this book and then somebody else wants to choose it, I now can say, okay, if this is the book that you're interested in, here's another book that I think you might like. Why don't we try this one? Or if somebody chooses this one, I can say, hey, actually, that's the second book in the series. Maybe we should read the first one first. And it's just a good way for me to give students direction on something they might like to read, to help keep them engaged when we get to FVR time, so that students are reading things they care about, that they're interested in, and they're not just being forced to read something because they chose it. So I think spending a lot of time to get your students prepared for reading and knowing what they like to read is really, really important because in the long run, it will keep your students more engaged. Thank you for joining me this week, and I hope to see you next time.